Ethan was not born into privilege, but he was born with something rarer: hunger for knowledge. From a young age, books fascinated him more than toys. While other boys played outside, Ethan sat near the small window of their old house, reading borrowed textbooks under fading sunlight. He didn't read to escape life, he read to change it. His teachers noticed early, "Your son is exceptional." One of them told his father during a parent meeting, "He has the potential to go far, very far." But Ethan's father, Raymond, laughed it off. "Study won't feed us," he said bluntly. "Hard work does." Raymond believed education was a waste of time. He had dropped out early himself and built a small, unstable income through odd jobs. In his mind, survival mattered. Dreams.Didn. Single quotes. Ethan tried to explain. "Father, if I study further, I can get a good job. I can help our family." Raymond's face hardened. "You think you're better than me," he snapped. "I survived without degrees." That was the beginning of the distance between them. Ethan's mother tried to mediate, but she was quiet, tired, worn down by years of arguments. She loved her son, but she feared her husband's temper more than she trusted Ethan's dreams. As Ethan grew older, his ambition grew stronger. He topped his school, won small scholarships, earned praise. Universities sent acceptance letters each, won a doorway to a better future, but every letter ended the same way: torn, thrown away, ignored. "I will not pay your fees," Raymond declared one night. "You will work." "That's final," Ethan begged. "I'll work part-time. I'll manage. I just need support." Raymond stood up, furious. "You're ungrateful. I give you food and shelter, and you want more?" That night, something in Ethan broke, but something else was born: determination. He secretly saved money, tutored younger students, applied for financial aid. He believed that if he tried hard enough, even his father would eventually understand. But understanding never came. Instead, anger did. One evening, Raymond came home drunk, bills unpaid, life heavy on his shoulders. "You think you're a scholar?" he shouted. "You bring shame to this house with your useless dreams." Ethan stayed silent. That silence enraged Raymond more. "If you want to study so badly," he yelled, opening the door, "then leave this house. I won't pay a single penny for your education." And just like that, Ethan was thrown out. No money, no shelter, no support. The door slammed behind him. Ethan stood outside under the dark sky, clutching his backpack, the only thing he owned. Tears filled his eyes. Not because he was homeless, but because the one person who should have believed in him never did. That night, sitting on a cold bench with nowhere to go, Ethan whispered to himself, "I will study. I will succeed. And one day, you will regret this." He didn't know how, but he knew one thing: this was not the end. It was the beginning of a revenge, written not with anger, but with success. The first night outside broke Ethan more than he expected. The cold seeped into his bones as he sat on a park bench, clutching his backpack like a lifeline. Streetlights flickered above him, and the city that once felt familiar now felt endless and indifferent. By morning, hunger arrived. Ethan hadn't eaten since the previous night. His phone battery was dying. Pride told him not to beg, but survival demanded humility. He went to the one place he believed might still welcome him. His old school. The watchman recognized him. "Ethan, why aren't you in class?" Ethan lowered his eyes. I don't live at home anymore." Word reached his former teacher, Mr. Collins, the man who once believed in him when no one else did. "You can't give up now," Mr. Collins said firmly after hearing the truth. "Talent like yours deserves a chance." He arranged something, small but life-saving: a temporary place to stay in a staff dorm room, and a part-time job organizing the school library. It wasn't comfort, but it was hope. Ethan worked mornings, studied afternoons, and slept late nights. Hunger still visited often, but so did determination. Every page he read reminded him why he endured this life. He applied again for university, this time alone. Rejections came first, then one acceptance letter arrived: partial scholarship. It wasn't enough. But Ethan didn't give up. He took another job: night shifts at a grocery store. His body weakened, but his mind sharpened. Customers mocked him for studying during breaks. Managers scolded him for being slow. He endured it all, because pain was temporary, purpose was permanent. Months later, another letter arrived: full scholarship. Ethan read it again and again, hands shaking. He had done what his father said was impossible. He entered university with nothing but determination and scars. Classes were harder than anything he had known. Many classmates came from privilege. They spoke confidently, dressed well, lived comfortably. Ethan felt invisible again, but invisible didn't mean incapable. He studied harder than everyone else, asked questions, stayed late. His professors noticed his brilliance. One of them offered him a research assistant position. Then came an internship, then recognition. Slowly, Ethan's life began to change. Back home, Raymond heard rumors. "Your son is doing well," a neighbor said. Raymond scoffed. "He won't last." But doubt crept in. Meanwhile, Ethan never called home, not out of hatred but because he was busy building a life that no one could destroy. One night, exhausted but fulfilled, Ethan looked at his reflection in a dorm. Mara, the boy who was thrown out, was gone. In his place stood someone stronger, and somewhere deep inside, A quiet thought formed one day. My success will speak for me. University transformed Ethan, not just academically, but mentally. He no longer saw education as escape. He saw it as power. Years of discipline began to show results. Ethan graduated at the top of his class. His research paper was published. Professors recommended him for elite programs. Then came the offer that changed everything. A prestigious technology firm selected Ethan for a leadership track position, rare, competitive, and life-altering. The salary alone was more than his father had earned in years. Ethan accepted quietly. He rented a small apartment, bought his first suit, opened his first bank account with more than survival money. For the first time in his life, he felt safe. Back home, reality hit Raymond hard. Work was unstable. Health issues grew. Bills piled up. Pride kept him silent. But neighbors whispered, "Your son made it," they said. "He's doing very well." Raymond dismissed it. But guilt followed him like a shadow. One evening, a letter arrived, addressed to Raymond. It was from Ethan's company. They were expanding and needed a local contractor. Raymond's small business had been shortlisted. Raymond read the name of the project manager. Ethan R. His hands trembled. The meeting day arrived. Raymond entered the office, nervously, old clothes, tired eyes, lowered head. Then he saw him. Ethan stood confidently at the head of the room, calm, composed, respected. Colleagues listened when he spoke. Raymond barely recognized the boy he had thrown out. "Mr. Raymond," Ethan said professionally, "please, have a seat." No anger, no accusation, just distance. Raymond's voice shook. "I didn't know." Ethan raised a hand gently. "This is a business meeting," he said. "Let's keep it professional." The deal went through on Ethan's terms. Fair, transparent, honest. After the meeting, Raymond lingered. "I was wrong," he said quietly. "I didn't understand your dreams." Ethan looked at him, not with rage but clarity. "You didn't have to understand," he replied. "You just had to believe." Raymond had no answer. Ethan walked away. Not because he hated his father, but because the past no longer controlled him. Yet fate wasn't finished. The final lesson, true revenge, was still unfolding. Success did not make Ethan loud. It made him free. Years passed. Ethan rose quickly in his career, not through shortcuts, but through consistency, ethics, and brilliance. He became a leader people trusted, a name associated with growth and opportunity. He never forgot where he came from, but he refused to be trapped there. One day, Ethan received a call from a hospital. It was about his father. Raymond had collapsed at work. The years of stress, neglect, and regret had finally caught up with him. There was no one else listed as emergency contact. Ethan went, not as a son seeking approval, but as a man who had outgrown resentment. Raymond looked smaller in the hospital bed, fragile, older. "I failed you," he whispered, tears filling his eyes. "I thought breaking your dreams would make you strong. I was wrong." Ethan sat quietly. "If you had paid my fees," Ethan said softly, "I might have succeeded." Raymond closed his eyes in shame. "But because you threw me out," Ethan continued, "I had no choice but to become unstoppable." Raymond cried. Ethan didn't say this to hurt him. He said it as truth. Ethan paid the hospital bills, helped his mother move into a better home, supported his parents, but set boundaries. No control, no commands, no disrespect. Raymond tried to give advice once. Ethan smiled. "I'll handle it." That was the moment Raymond truly understood. Years later, Ethan stood on a university stage, not as a student, but as a guest speaker. He told his story. About being told education was useless, about being thrown out for dreaming, about surviving without support, and about choosing growth over hatred. "The best revenge," Ethan said, "is building a life so strong that no one can ever throw you out of it again." The hall erupted in applause. Somewhere in the audience, Raymond listened, proud, regretful, silent. Ethan didn't look at him. He looked forward. Because revenge was never about proving his father wrong, it was about proving himself right, and he did.